Dotnet Report Builder is an ad hoc reporting solution. It comes with many advanced features and makes it very easy for a programmer to add report building capabilities to their web application. The purpose of this video is to demonstrate the process of adding Dotnet Report Builder to a new MVC application. We'll be using a local copy of the Northwind database for this tutorial. We'll start by opening up Microsoft Visual Studio and starting a new project. Choose the ASP.NET web application and give it a name. Next, select MVC and click OK. Visual Studio will now create a new ASP.NET project for us. As you can see here, we are starting off with a standard blank Visual Studio project with just a controller and a view. You can run it and you'll see that it's bare bones with just Bootstrap installed. Now we will go ahead and install .NET Report to this application. Installing .NET Report is very easy and can be accomplished through a NuGet package. We can right-click on References and Shown and add the NuGet package using this method, or we can also install it from PowerShell. I'll use the UI here and go to Browse and search for .NET Report. Click on the latest v2.0 package and click on Install. After accepting the license, you'll see that the NuGet package starts adding all the different files directly into the project. So once the installation is complete, it will display this README file with some instructions on what to do next. You'll see that it also installs a .NET Report controller as well as the .NET Setup controller, and it adds all the views for .NET Report. It also adds a layout file for .NET Report. As the README file says, installing this package adds some setup keys to the web config. Click on web.config to view these keys as shown here. The next steps will be to fill these in with your actual API tokens. Keep in mind that you will still be able to build and run the project without these tokens. It will basically just give you an error when you go to the reports. To test this, type /.NET report to the homepage address and hit enter. As you can see here, the report builder comes up, however it gives you an error that the connection is now found. And this is because the web config just has dummy values for the API tokens right now, and we need to get the actual API tokens before we can run the reports. So to do that, we'll go ahead and sign in to our account if we have one, or we'll create a new account by clicking on register and providing some basic info and choosing a password for the account. Once you've registered for the account, you'll be directed to this screen. Here is a dashboard view which shows you your API call usage, but it's empty so far because we need to set up the database and actually run some reports. As you can see here, we don't have any connections, so we'll add a new database connection. We can name it anything we want. I'll name this Northwind. The next piece of information needed is a connection key, which is basically your SQL connection key in web config, and it has to match exactly. So I'll call this Northwind context and hit save changes. Now that the database name and connection key is set up, the next thing we need to do is to head over to get API keys that we will need to plug it into the web config. I'll copy over the public API token from here and paste it in the web.config in my project where it says your public account API token. Similarly, I'll get the private API token from the site and paste it where it says your private API token. The final one is a data connection API token. Notice here that each database you add will have a separate data connect API token. You can easily set up connections to multiple different databases, but right now I just have one, and I will put that token info into web.config where it says your data connect API token. By following these simple steps, we have connected our local client site to the .NET Report API server. The second part of this process is to connect your database to .NET Report in this web config. Here I am connecting to my local SQL server. The name of the data connect string must match exactly with what you entered online on the website. We are now ready to run this project. Once the browser window opens up to our home page, we will type /.net setup to our home page address and hit enter. This will take us to the manage database page, and if all the API tokens and database info was added correctly, you will be able to connect to your local database. So you can see it brings down all of the tables in the database and all the views for us to configure in the .NET Report for the end users. So for example, I can see a customer table here with all of its fields. I can check this table and I can select all of its fields and hit save. This allows end users of .NET Report Builder to see and use a customer table to generate reports. At this stage, you have other options also, like renaming and relabeling tables. For example, relabeling the company name with a space in between if you want to change the way the table is displayed to the end users. Of course, this procedure can be used to add all your tables to .NET Report, but for now we will just use the customer table and go to the .NET Report page and refresh this page. You'll see that this time there is no error, and you can click on the create a new report button and click on the choose section drop down in the choose data for report section. You can see here that the customer table is available, and when you select it you can see all of the different fields that make up this table. Let's select all the fields and add them to the report, give the report a name, and sort it by customer ID. We can hit save and run report. You can see the .NET Report Builder brings in all of the data from the database for the end user very quickly. So the Report Builder has a host of great features like server-side paging, sorting, and advanced filters to condition the data. There are multiple types of reports that users can select. Rearranging fields is an easy drag and drop process, and there are a couple of ways to apply filters. Our channel has videos that take an in-depth look at how to use these user-side features. All of the features shown here are out-of-the-box features that you can leverage simply by installing the NuGet package and doing a basic configuration as shown in this video. One last thing I do want to mention, heading back to the code side, everything client-side is actually added to the code, and it's all open source and it's available on GitHub. So essentially this is your controller and it's added to your code. All the views are right here also, so it gets very easy to customize things. The JavaScript is also included. It's in the minified version here, and the full version is available on GitHub. The Report Service API is not open source, however, and is hosted on the cloud. It can also be hosted on-prem in your own environment. Feel free to get in touch with us to discuss different implementation options. So to summarize, the purpose of this video was to show how easy it is to get set up and running with .NET Report. Visit our website for more instructions or schedule a demo with us and we'll be glad to help you get set up. Thank you.